schedule as well. Clint Boyer is actually going to come in after Jimmie Johnson is concluded and do his media rather than wait this afternoon. Clint said he couldn't wait to talk to you all, so he's going to come in as soon as Jimmie finishes up, so you want to make sure to stick around for that one. Jimmie Johnson joins us. He drives the number 48 Lowe's Chevrolet for Hendrick Motorsports, 7th in points, 4-time defending NASCAR Sprint Cup Series champion, 2009 Associated Press Male Athlete of the Year. Jimmie, you've won here 3 times at Richmond. I believe 3 out of the last 6 times we've raced here, you've won. So you got to feel good about tomorrow night.
Yeah, I mean, I do. Those 3 wins were 3 races ago. The last 3 times we've been here, it's been a bit of a struggle, and this track has always been that way for us. It's either on or off. And the spring race, we salvaged a decent finish out of it and had some moments through the night where we were a top 5 car, but never really had the speed we needed. So we've been working on some stuff here, and I think we're a little bit smarter in general coming back to this track than where we were in the spring. And we're certainly optimistic. We had the 24 car put up a great performance throughout the spring race, and we've come back very similar to him and expanded on the baseline setup that they had in the springtime here. So we'll see.
Questions for Jimmie. We'll start right back in the back with Bob, and then we'll go to Jeff, and then Rusty.
Bob Margolis, Fox Sports. Hey, Jimmie, in big games like Super Bowl, bowl games, coaches always talk about not overthinking the game. And, can you and Chad fall into that unfortunate hole of overthinking this just because you've been there, done that? I mean, I know you're going to say, oh, no, we're not. But, I mean, in reality, can you maybe overthink this just because, okay, now we're going back in it again and it's something we've done? I mean, or can you just approach it like any other series of races?
No, we definitely can. And I think the things I have said through the last 4 chases kind of speak to our mindset with relative to your question. And I have always professed that and have tried to live through the world of not overthinking. It's very, very easy to do. And I know I gave bland, boring comments at the end of the last 4 chases, but it was the truth. I mean, I just need to focus on my job and not overthink things. If you get caught up in what everyone else is doing, you're not spending the time on your program that you need to. Even during the course of the race, if I see someone I'm racing in the points driving away from me, if I start worrying about him, I'm not focused on my car. If you're focused in practice on the timing board, the sheet, and who's where. I mean, there's just countless examples of it. And the way we've won these last 4 championships is we ran our chase, and we ran our race each and every weekend and didn't pay attention to the surrounding environment. And hopefully we can do that again. And the last 4 seasons, we've been faced with a lot of adversity, and the times where we just focused on our team helped us. Those moments helped us grow as a team and really separate ourselves in the chase. From a positive standpoint, where we were with a big points lead and were crashed in Texas last year, all the way to a bad experience. Well, I guess that was kind of a bad experience too, but we had a nice points lead. But when I think back to 2006, we were crashed at Loudon right out of the gate, and then again in Talladega, and we thought we were out. But we were just focused on our team, and things came back to us. So I guess a long answer to your question, absolutely. You can overthink it. Yep.
Okay, let's go. Rusty, Jeff Hood, Mike Vega.
Rusty Ball and NASCAR Media Group. Obviously, looking ahead, the chase starts in New Hampshire. A couple of guys have already said that they already have started thinking about New Hampshire. Jeff said he tested. Just curious to what you've done, if anything special, to prepare for that first chase race, assuming it's probably pretty important to start off there strong.
Yeah, I mean, every team has known, I guess, probably, to back up a second, New Hampshire has been on everyone's mind at Daytona. Everybody knows that race is coming. That's when the chase starts, and everybody hoped to be one of the 12 drivers in the chase. As you start to lock in and know that you're going to lock in, you really draw all attention to that race, and then the races following. You get into Dover and start looking at your setups for Dover and really work on those races. So we're in that category. We've been looking at Loudon. We feel very confident with the Loudon racetrack. We won there in the spring and had a very dominant car throughout the entire day. So it's top of mind for us as well. We've been doing some testing too. I think that our performance in Atlanta was a great step for this 48 team on the mile-and-a-half tracks. So hopefully we've got momentum and performance coming at the right time.
Let's go Jeff, Mike Vega, and then Tim.
Jeff Hood of RacingToday.com. Jimmy, last Sunday night's race in Atlanta, one of the faster tracks in Atlanta, 8 relatively short cautions, but it took nearly 4 hours to run that race. Is it time to look at maybe shortening some races across the board, or would that be tampering with tradition?
At the end of the day, it really depends on the viewing audience, the people there in the grandstands and the people at home. It did seem like a long race, but as a driver at Atlanta, it's such a fun track to run that you don't really mind the longer race. There are other tracks that take a lot of criticism, like Pocono, for being a long race. But at the end of the day, it boils down to the fans and what their viewing attention span is. And we need to be really aware of that and adjust to it. We've adjusted everything else to try to make our show better, from different race cars, moving schedule around, a variety of things. That if we need to look at the race distance in the near future, I would not be against it.
Let's go Mike Vega, Tim, Holly Kane.
Jimmy, Mike Vega, Boston Globe. How you doing? Hey, just wanted to take you back a little bit to 06 when you talked about crashing at New Hampshire and then Talladega, and how you felt you guys were out of it, and yet you kind of gathered yourselves and wound up going on to the championship. But can you tell me what role momentum had in that resurgence for you guys, and how did you attain it and then sustain it, and how have you guys been able to do that in this dynastic run you guys have been on?
Dynastic, man, that's a big word. We I can't spell it. Don't ask me to spell it. Did Kurt Busch make that word up? He used to make up some big words a while back. No? Okay. I think that it's hard to remember all the emotions at that point in time, but when I look back on it now, I would say that was a year or a chase when our momentum was taken away from us. And it kind of pulls back into the other question where, can you overthink things? And we were pretty much down and out after the first race and felt like the way the season had gone up to that point, that a top 10 average was going to win the championship. And it's been that way since. Really, a top 5 average has kind of been the need to win. So we just we could have easily given up or taken a negative approach or had sour grapes, whatever it was, and just didn't look at things the right way. But we didn't. We stayed in our world. We kept it simple, and we tried to collect points, and we kept fighting through each and every event. And then just maybe when we've probably had some good things going for us, Talladega happened and knocked us back down. So momentum was really against us in the 2006 season, and it took other teams making mistakes to let us back in. And that's at times we think the chase, it's a given that certain drivers are going to perform week in and week out, and it's a 2-guy breakaway or a single-car breakaway. You just don't know. You've got to go run the race. When you have 400 or 500 mile races, all the variables and moving components to a race with all the other cars and your mechanical issues or flat tires, you just can't. You can't give up, and that's what 2006 was about for a race team.
Was 08 when momentum worked in your favor?
Yeah, we were rolling in 08. That was with Jeff, right? With Jeff and Carl, both of those years, man, we were rolling. We had momentum working for us, for sure. It was kind of I giggle about it now, still thinking about it, because I can't believe our team in those clutch moments delivered time and time again. And we had to, because we were under such pressure from both Jeff and Carl in those 2 separate years. And I was even shocked in Victory Lane as I think back, and maybe with some of my comments then were like, I can't believe we're doing this. It was really, really cool to experience it.